Hi, Charles with SirBookSage here, and it is Friday, December 1st, 2017, and this is my Friday Reads. And it is also day one of Vlogmas. I'm only 2.5 months into my booktube adventure, and I decided, what the hell, I'm just going to dive headfirst into Vlogmas. I've made a list of all the videos I hope to be able to do this month. Vlogmas, I think, runs between now and Christmas Eve. But I ended up making a list of videos to run all the way through the end of the month. We'll see. If I make it to Christmas Eve doing a video every day, I'll probably just go through the end of the month and make it all the way through. But that remains to be seen how many of them actually do get done. This weekend, however, it's a pretty casual reading weekend for me. Starting on the 4th, on Monday, is the first of 3 readathons I'm going to be doing this month. And the bulk of my reading for the month are books for those 3 readathons. It's a very merry readathon is the one that starts on Monday the 4th and it runs through the 8th. And so this weekend is pretty much just casual reading, just continuing to read books that I'm already in the middle of that aren't related to the readathons at all. I have about 5 books I'm still currently in the middle of, and I'd like to make some progress on those. I'd like to finish off at least 1 or 2 of those this weekend. Last night, just before midnight, I did finish reading Gail Z. Martin's Deadly Curiosities. It's her first foray into urban fantasy. Gail is more of a high fantasy writer. She has a bunch of fantasy books. And I've had this and its sequel, Vendetta, on my Kindle for a while. And I decided to just give it a try. I was going to read it for, I think it was going to be a book for Spookathon, but I ended up choosing a different book instead, and then just started reading this at night. And I'm not a big urban fantasy reader. It's a genre I don't read all that much. But over the course of this year, I've noticed that it's kind of slotting itself in as my late night in bed reading on my Kindle before sleeping. I like to read like a chapter of something once I've gone to bed before I go to sleep. And urban fantasy seems to be fitting in really nice to that slot. Now, which may sound strange because here I am reading a book about people being hunted by a demon. It may not seem like, just before sleep reading, but the genre of urban fantasy for me is a very light read, even though it deals with demon hunting and all sorts of stuff like that. It's still a light read, just the style in which it's written. And and I looked at my Kindle, and I do have at least half a dozen urban fantasy books in my catalog. So if I keep that as my in-bed read and like a chapter a night kind of thing, I'll go roughly through maybe a book a month, maybe a book and a half, 2 books a month at max. But it gives me something to read at the end of the night that's kind of separate from all my main reads that I'm doing. So now I will probably be doing a video of just the Deadly Curiosities, a review of it, because I was actually surprised at how much I actually enjoyed it. I didn't know what I was going to expect. I'm a fan of Gail Z. Martin as a writer. She's like touch and go with a lot of people. She doesn't write big, epic, blow your back of your head off kind of fantasy books. They're just solid, high fantasy stories. She's a really solid storyteller. I happen to like her writing style. I like the character she creates, so I enjoy them. So I'm more on the, that's a 3.75 to 4.25 book scale for me with her books. Whereas a lot of other people, if they don't just click with her writing style, they may rate her on the lower 3 end, down to 2 even. I've seen a wide range of reviews of people reviewing her books. And for me, her writing style works for me, so I happen to like her a lot. So I wasn't sure what to make of an urban fantasy, because that's completely different than what she normally writes. Except for one thing. Her fantasy series, her main one, does have vampires in it. And so that's a kind of a character she's familiar with doing already. And one of the characters in Deadly Curiosities is Soren, who's a vampire. He's kind of the silent business partner for the main character and this sort of antique curio store that she runs. But I was actually really, really surprised by how much I enjoyed that book. So after I went to bed last night, about 2 o'clock in the morning, I opened my Kindle and said, all right, and I read chapter 1 of Vendetta, which is the second book. And it starts off with a bang, so I'm already enjoying it. But so most of my reading this weekend is going to be reading some more Vendetta. I'm still in the middle of, I still haven't gotten to those last 200 pages of my reread of It. I didn't even touch It the entire month of November, mainly though because of NaNoWriMo. And I'm still in the middle of His Golden Compass, really enjoying that. A Tale of Two Cities. So most of my reading this weekend is just going to be centered around those couple of books. I'd like to finish off one of these books at least, but they're nice. I like having this kind of side list of books separate from my main reads. So if I want to just take a break from something, I can jump back into one of these. And that's pretty much my reading this weekend. Very relaxed, very casual. Tomorrow, a very merry Readathon TBR video will go up. That'll be my Vlogmas Day 2. And now I have a question for you. Since I'm doing 3 different readathons this month, and 99% of the books I'm reading this month are for those readathons, and I'm going to be doing a TBR video for each of the 3 readathons, how in the world do I do a December TBR video? So I'd like feedback from you. What do I do in a December TBR video when all the books are going to be related to readathons that are going to have their own TBR videos? So if you've encountered this before in your own channel, how did you handle it? I'm just curious because I'm only 2.5 months into BookTube, so this whole process is new to me, and I'm still trying to figure out and learn the content and how I want to present it and all those kinds of things. So do I simply show, oh, hey, here's all the books I'm reading in December, but not tell you which readathons they're for, and then you watch the readathon TBRs to see which books you saw in my December TBR are readathons for that? So I have no idea. So I would love some feedback down below in the comments to what your suggestions are for, or how you've handled this particular situation yourself. Because on my schedule for Sunday is my December TBR video, which I haven't even begun to film yet because I just finalized the last of my readathon books last night as well, pretty late last night. So, but now I'm kind of have a quandary here. It's like, how do I even do a December TBR when I'm doing 3 separate Readathon TBR videos that are going to encompass the same thing? Anyway, I'd love to hear from you, your thoughts, your ideas, your suggestions in the comments below. And I'm going to wrap this up here. I am going to go listen to some Christmas music, and I'm going to read. And pretty much take it easy and relax and have some tea this weekend. And then just dive into all the Readathon madness that's going to start on the 4th and run all the way through Christmas Eve. So I will sign off now. I'm Charles of SirBookSage. Happy reading.